How's it going, guys and girls? I'm just going to do a quick demonstration of how to import some data into Power BI. Now, it could be an Excel file or a table from SQL Server. I'm going to use a CSV file, go a bit old school, and just take that data set and analyze it a little bit and clean it up before you import it. And then do a little bit of a check when it's imported to make sure that the data is kind of working properly. Okay, so first things first, open your Power BI and then find your data set. So I'm going to use the residential property price register from Ireland here, download all the records, and you'll end up with a CSV file with all of the records for the last 10 or 11 years. So then go into Power BI, say get data, and choose whichever your data source is. That's CSV for us. So we're going to choose property price register all. Now this has about 500,000 records in it, so it's a decent whack to be using as a demonstration. Now when it comes in, it'll give you the top 200, and just to give you a general feel for it, I'm going to go straight away into transform data and open the query editor. And as soon as this opens, I'll just pull it here. So we have a query editor here. Make sure when you're analyzing your data sets to turn on your column distribution and column profiles so that you can see when you look at the addresses or the dates, you can see the value distributions, and you can see which ones have nulls or which ones are useful or not, you know. So what I'm going to be doing now is I'm going to be looking at the fields that we have. So we have an address, postcode, not too many values in the postcode. It seems to be all just values for Dublin. So that field is not really any use to us. We want to maybe put it in the address and then get rid of it as a field by itself. County, maybe put that in the address as well, but keep county because it'll be very good for filters. Price, here you go. This is a good example. So the price is in as a text field at the moment. We want to make sure that that's numeric. Not full market price. We can get rid of that. We don't need that. It's not going to be of any use to us. Remove that field. VAT exclusive, remove that field. Description of property, new or second hand. Seems to be only two values there, new or second hand. Property size description. Now, because there's so many different, it's effectively less than 1% of those are filled in. So they're not going to be of any use to us. So we'll just get rid of it for now for this demo. I'm going to do a little bit of a cleanup on the data that we have. We have our date. So the first thing I'm going to do here is I'll clean this up a little bit I'm going to copy our second hand and go in here and replace the values, and this will replace them in everything in that field. So I'm going to find this value and replace it just with the word second hand. So it's not as long-winded, and I'll do the same for new. Replace values. Find that. I would just put new. So that's effectively, and then description of property, we're going to change the name of that field to new / second hand. Okay, so effectively now we'll have a nice drop down that we can use in our reports. Let's say if it's new or second hand, it won't take up too much space. So the second thing we want to do is fix this price thing. So we want to take out all the euros, replace the values of all the euros. So euro sign, and just remove all of them. And then we should be able to change it up here to a decimal. So you can see all the different values you can change it to. If it's a date field but it's not set to date, you can set it to date there, or date time, or get rid of the time off a date time field, whatever it is. So we're just going to set it to decimal number here. You could set it to whole number because we don't care about the pounds and pence, but I'm just going to leave it as it is there now. And then the final thing I'm going to do with this data set is I'm going to create a field here. I'm just going to say I want to add a column from examples. basically this is going to be to complete the address. So I'm going to just start typing Ireland, because maps don't like partial addresses. If we do want to use maps down the line, that should fill it all in. Yeah, there you go. So we have added from an example that we've put in ourselves. So once you know the data, you should be fine to do that with your own data. So I'm going to change this, rename this to country. It mightn't even be that necessary now. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make an address field, which is an amalgamation of address, postcode, county, and country, so that we can actually use it on a map. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure I've copied the county field, duplicate that out here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to say address, we want postcode, so hold the control key down, postcode, and second county and country. I do it in order. Right click and say merge columns, and then on the separator I'm going to actually do a custom separator of comma space. I would say this is map address. Okay, effectively that'll make a map address like this for us, and then we can do a quick cleanup on that to replace any of the ones like comma space with just comma space, and that will get rid of that sort of cleaning up. Now there'll be a lot more stuff, like there'll be special characters, all that sort of stuff, because that's free text. So there will be lots of stuff you can do to further improve the data quality of that, but that's all right for now, just to do that. So once we've got that like that, now I'm going to say, okay, are we good to go with that? Okay, fine. So we just say close and apply, and then you just wait for it to connect to your model, and it should bring your data in the way. Now, some people will bring it in first and mess around with it. Some people will take the data source into Excel because they're more used to dealing with it with Excel. I think the tips and tricks like the column distribution and values that you can use in Power BI is it's very nice to leverage that. And you can see this is 500,000 rows of a data set, so it's zipping through it quick enough. So I'm sure on your own machines, if they're more powerful, that'll be even quicker. So effectively, it's after loading the 463,000 rows there. And then there's little extra things you can do here. So if we wanted, for example, to just put a matrix onto the page to just test this out. So let's say the date automatically creates a date hierarchy for me. That's good. So I'm going to just say year, and I'm going to say county, and see, it's gone year and county like this, so I might switch that around, columns to rows, and rows to columns, and do it like this. And then I'm going to say the value is price, and because I put the price in as a number, it'll appear as a number, and that's just a quick check for you to make sure that you have the data and it's adding up to total. So you'll see the total is 5 billion for 2010, and that's the split between all the different counties. And then effectively you'll be able to, because you have everything down to the actual address, you'll be able to do in-depth reporting with this. But that's all I'm going to get into for now. So we'll save the next lot for a new episode. Thanks very much.